The story unfolds across the stars, with multiple star systems caught in the throes of a galactic war. Humanity is seen as a minor species, underestimated and mocked by the vast interstellar civilizations. Unbeknownst to the aliens, humanity has developed technology that allows them to access the seventh dimension, where their hidden warship resides, waiting for the right moment to strike. Characters: Captain Aurora Steele, the human captain of the hidden seventh-dimensional warship, fiercely loyal to humanity, with a strong moral compass. She's burdened with leading a mission that could determine the survival of humanity. Commander Verax, an alien tactician from the aggressive Carillion Empire, who sees humans as an inferior species, often mocking them. However, he harbors doubts about the true capabilities of humanity. Dr. Elena Vargas, a human scientist who unlocked the secrets of the seventh dimension, torn between her love for Commander Verax, who sees her as a spy, and her duty to protect humanity. Axrellis the Seer, a mysterious alien who perceives reality beyond normal dimensions. Axrellis becomes an unexpected ally of humanity, warning them about the alien civilization's looming attack. The planet Verith Prime was the heart of the Galactic Council, a sprawling metropolis that gleamed with the light of 1,000 star systems. Massive skyscrapers reached toward the stars, their sleek surfaces shimmering with alien metals that humans could only dream of. The sky was alive with traffic, shuttles, diplomatic vessels, and military ships from across the galaxy flew in perfect harmony, representing the diversity of the Council's member species. At the center of it all stood the Galactic Council Hall, a towering structure that pierced the atmosphere, a beacon of unity for those under its rule. Inside, representatives from every major civilization gathered to discuss war, trade, and politics. For the first time, humanity had been invited to this hallowed place. The delegation from Earth arrived in their modest ship, a small diplomatic vessel that seemed laughably out of place among the sleek and imposing crafts from other worlds. As the human diplomats disembarked, they couldn't help but feel the weight of thousands of alien eyes upon them. The lead representative, Ambassador Karen Desai, took a deep breath, feeling the pressure of her role as the face of humanity. She was a strong, intelligent woman in her early 40s, but even she felt small amidst the grandeur of the alien civilizations. Her eyes scanned the crowd as she and her team walked towards the entrance of the council hall, taking note of the many disdainful or curious glances directed at them. Next to her, Commander Elias Morrow, the military advisor, scowled. He was a man of few words, his tall frame and stern expression giving off an air of quiet authority. But now he felt the sting of mockery as alien representatives openly whispered and laughed at the humans. "They don't even bother to hide it," Morrow muttered, his voice a low growl. "They think we're a joke." Ambassador Desai's lips tightened. "Let them laugh. We're not here to impress them. We're here to secure our place in this galaxy." As they entered the vast council chamber, their presence seemed insignificant compared to the powerful species around them. The Carillions were among the most prominent, tall, sleek humanoids with shimmering blue skin and cold, calculating eyes. Their leader, Chancellor Veraxis, sat at the head of the chamber, his gaze full of superiority as he watched the humans take their seats. The atmosphere was tense, as the council had been convened to discuss the growing war between the Carillions and the Zethar Collective, a brutal insectoid species that had been expanding rapidly, devouring planets and civilizations in their wake. Humanity, a new and relatively small player on the galactic stage, had only recently developed faster-than-light travel, and thus far they had remained on the fringes of interstellar politics. "Humans," Veraxis spoke, his voice smooth and dripping with disdain. "So good of you to join us, despite your limitations." A ripple of laughter spread through the chamber, with other species joining in. Ambassador Desai smiled politely, though it didn't reach her eyes. "We may be new to this council, Chancellor, but humanity has always risen to face the greatest challenges. I'm sure you'll find we are more than capable of contributing." "Contributing?" Veraxis raised an eyebrow. "Ah, yes. Tell me, Ambassador, how exactly do you plan to contribute to this galactic conflict?" I've heard your ships are quaint. Another round of chuckles echoed in the chamber. Disai's diplomatic training kicked in, keeping her expression neutral, but Commander Morrow's hands tightened into fists. We fought wars before, Chancellor, Morrow said, his voice measured but firm. We may not have your technology, but we know how to fight. Humanity is stronger than you think. Viraxes leaned forward, his eyes gleaming with amusement. Ah, yes? Strength. A primitive concept, Commander. In this galaxy, strength comes from power, power that your species clearly lacks. The mockery stung, but the humans held their ground. What the aliens didn't know, however, was that humanity had been hiding something. A weapon, a warship unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Hidden in the seventh dimension, far beyond the reach of normal space, it waited, but now wasn't the time to reveal it. A few weeks passed, and the galactic war raged on. The Zethar Collective was pushing deeper into Carillion space, overwhelming their fleets with sheer numbers and ruthless efficiency. The Galactic Council debated endlessly, but it was clear that without new allies, the Carillions would fall. Despite the Council's mockery, humanity was offered a chance to prove themselves. A token gesture by the Carillions to use the humans as cannon fodder in a minor skirmish. Humanity was assigned to defend a small, unimportant colony on the outskirts of Carillion territory. It was a mission designed to fail, a test of human limits. The aliens expected them to be wiped out, a humiliating spectacle to solidify humanity's inferiority. Are you sure about this? Morrow asked Ambassador Desai as they stood on the bridge of their warship, the USS Resolute. This feels like a trap. Desai nodded grimly. It is. They're using us as expendable resources, but we don't have a choice. If we refuse, we'll lose what little standing we have in the Council. Morrow's eyes narrowed. They want to see us fail. They'll be surprised, Desai said, her voice hardening. They think we're weak because we don't have their advanced tech, but they don't understand humanity. They don't know what we're capable of. The colony they were tasked with defending was a backwater outpost on the planet Calor V, a desolate, windswept world with little strategic value. But when the Zethar fleet arrived, they descended like a swarm of locusts, determined to leave nothing but ash in their wake. The battle was brutal. Human ships, small and outdated by galactic standards, fought valiantly against the Zethar. The aliens outnumbered them, their insectoid ships darting through space like predators closing in on prey. But the humans fought with everything they had: adaptability, teamwork, and raw determination. Commander Morrow led the defense, his tactical genius surprising even the most seasoned Carillion observers. Human ships coordinated their attacks with precision, exploiting weaknesses in the Zdar formations. What they lacked in firepower, they made up for in ingenuity. The humans' ability to think on their feet, to adapt to the chaotic nature of battle, was something the Zethar had not anticipated. But the tide of the battle was turning. The Zethar's overwhelming numbers began to take their toll, and one by one, human ships were being destroyed. The USS Resolute was the last ship standing, its hull battered and scorched. "We can't hold much longer," one of the officers shouted, sparks flying from their console. Morrow clenched his jaw. They had done better than anyone had expected, but it wasn't enough. The aliens had won this round, or so it seemed. "Ambassador," Morrow said quietly, turning to Desai, "I think it's time." Desai nodded, her expression grim. "Activate it." Deep within the heart of the USS Resolute, hidden far from prying eyes, lay the secret to humanity's survival. A device that no other species had developed, technology that could tap into the seventh dimension. As the Zethar ships closed in for the kill, a ripple of energy surged through space. The Resolute flickered, as if reality itself had warped around it, and in the blink of an eye, it disappeared. The Zethar were left confused, their sensors unable to track the human ship. But the humans were still there, watching from a higher plane of existence. In the seventh dimension, time and space worked differently, and here, humanity had the advantage. From their new vantage point, they could see every move their enemies made, every weakness in their armor. With a single command, Morrow unleashed the full power of the warship's hidden technology. The USS Resolute reappeared, now armed with the knowledge of their enemy's vulnerabilities. Within moments, the Zethar fleet was decimated, their ships torn apart with surgical precision. The Corellians, watching from a distance, were stunned. Humanity had not only survived, they had won. In the aftermath of the battle over Calor V, the Galactic Council had no choice but to take humanity more seriously. The unexpected victory against the Zethar had not only saved the colony, but also exposed a side of humanity the alien empires had underestimated. The Corellian Chancellor, Viraxis, was forced to reconsider his position, though he still viewed humanity with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. Humanity, for all their cunning and newfound strength, remained outsiders. Their technology was still inferior, except for the mysterious warship, the USS Resolute, which had used a power no one else understood. The Corellians didn't trust them, but they needed allies in the ongoing war with the Zethar. As part of the tentative alliance, the Galactic Council arranged a diplomatic event on the luxurious space station Athenon, orbiting a binary star system. Diplomats, military leaders, and scientists from the various galactic species attended, mingling and discussing the future of their war efforts. Among the human delegation was Dr. Elena Vargas, one of the chief architects behind humanity's seventh-dimensional technology. Dr. Vargas had been instrumental in the development of the mysterious warship, and now she found herself in a precarious position, representing humanity's scientific prowess at a gathering filled with species who still saw her people as inferiors. She wore the diplomatic mask of calm professionalism, but deep down, she felt like a fish out of water. As the event unfolded in the massive crystalline hall of Athenon Station, Elena found herself scanning the crowd. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved about, engaged in polite conversation. Some floated, others stood on elongated legs, and a few communicated through pheromones and light signals. It was a surreal environment, but she was used to it by now. Then her eyes landed on Commander Verax. Commander Verax was a Corellian officer, infamous for his icy demeanor and tactical genius. He had been present during the skirmish at Calor V, though he had dismissed humanity's chances of survival at the time. His arrogance had made him a frequent critic of humanity's participation in the war, and yet Elena couldn't help but feel a strange pull toward him. Verax, with his sapphire skin and tall, elegant frame, radiated authority. His silver armor gleamed in the low light of the station's chandeliers, and his piercing blue eyes scanned the room like a predator surveying his domain. There was something about his cold, calculating demeanor that intrigued Elena, even though she knew better than to let herself get involved with a Corellian. But as fate would have it, their paths crossed. Elena had been standing near one of the holographic displays, pretending to be absorbed in the readings when Verax approached her. His footsteps were almost silent on the smooth floor, and she felt his presence before she saw him. "Dr. Vargas," he said, his voice smooth but sharp like the edge of a blade, "I must say, your people's victory at Calor V was unexpected." She turned to face him, meeting his gaze. There was something about the way he spoke, patronizing, as if he still believed it was a fluke. Yet beneath the arrogance, Elena sensed a hint of curiosity. "Unexpected," she replied, raising an eyebrow. "Or underestimated?" Verax's lips curled into a small, humorless smile. "Perhaps, but you'll forgive me if I still question how a species like yours could have developed such advanced technology." Elena bristled at his tone. "Humans have always been resourceful. We don't give up easily. And yet," Verax continued, taking a step closer, "you remain a mystery to us. Your ships, your tactics, they're all so primitive, except for that one warship of yours, the one that seems to defy the laws of physics." He was fishing for information, of course. Elena could see it in his eyes. The Corellians were desperate to understand how the USS Resolute had performed its seemingly impossible maneuvers. They wanted to know the secret behind humanity's seventh-dimensional technology, and Verax was using this conversation to probe her for details. "You'll forgive me if I can't share classified information," Elena said coolly. "But I can assure you, Commander, we're more than capable of holding our own in this war." Verax's smile faded slightly, replaced by a more serious expression. For a moment, the arrogance in his eyes was replaced by something else, something deeper. Interest, perhaps, or maybe even respect? Elena wasn't sure. "Of course," he said, his voice softening. "I wouldn't expect anything less from someone like you, Dr. Vargas." "Engineering is ready for dimensional shift, Captain," came the gruff voice of Lieutenant Commander Davies the head engineer. His voice carried the calm of a man who had seen the worst space had to offer, yet the seventh dimension still unsettled him. "Navigation's ready," Green replied, though there was a noticeable tremor in her voice. She was only human after all, and they were about to attempt something no species had ever successfully controlled. Aurora took a deep breath. "All right, let's make history again. Begin the dimensional shift." The ship hummed with power as the phase shields activated. Slowly, the physical universe around them began to distort, the stars outside the viewport blurring and warping. Space itself seemed to stretch and twist as the USS Resolute left the third dimension and entered the seventh. Inside the ship, the air became heavy, as if the very fabric of reality was pressing against them. Aurora kept her gaze on the viewport, where the stars had been replaced by a swirling, chaotic vortex of energy. This was the seventh dimension, a place of pure potential and danger. "Steady, Lieutenant Green," Aurora said, her voice calm but commanding. "We can't afford any mistakes." The ship lurched suddenly, and alarms blared as the stabilizers struggled to maintain their hold. Green's hands flew across the controls, her eyes wide with panic. "I'm losing control," she shouted, her voice filled with fear. "Redirect power to the phase stabilizers," Aurora ordered, her mind racing through the procedures. With a surge of energy, the ship steadied itself, the vortex outside calming. They had done it. The USS Resolute was now fully within the seventh dimension. But as the crew breathed a sigh of relief, Aurora knew this was only the beginning. Controlling the warship was one thing, using it in battle would be another entirely. While humanity celebrated their technological breakthrough, the Galactic Council's tenuous peace was breaking down. Tensions between human allies and the Carillion Empire had reached a boiling point. Commander Verax once the Carillion Empire's proud warrior, found himself in a deeply conflicted position. The Emperor of the Carillion Empire had issued an ultimatum: attack the human colonies or be stripped of rank and honor. Verax, bound by duty, was forced to lead the Carillion fleet against a human colony near the Kestrel Nebula *. His heart, however, was elsewhere, with Dr. Elena Vargas, the woman he had come to care for more than he could admit. As Verax stood on the bridge of his warship, the Calthor*, he looked out at the human colony in the distance. His orders were clear: destroy their defenses and take control. But every fiber of his being resisted. "Commander," his second in command, Selthar*, said coldly, "the fleet is ready for your orders. Shall we begin the bombardment?" Verax's jaw tightened. His hand hovered over the command console. He had sworn an oath to his emperor, but how could he betray Elena and humanity like this? "Hold fire," Verax ordered, his voice strained. Zelthar's eyes narrowed. "Hold fire? The Emperor's orders were." "I know what the orders were." Verax snapped, his voice harsher than intended. He took a deep breath, regaining his composure. "But I want to assess the situation first." His hesitation did not go unnoticed. The crew exchanged nervous glances, and Selthar's suspicions grew. But Verax wasn't about to let his loyalty to his empire destroy what little hope there was for peace. Back on Earth, news of the impending Carillion offensive spread like wildfire. Humanity had known this day would come, and now it was time to fight. On the bridge of the USS Resolute, Captain Aurora Steele prepared her crew for their greatest challenge yet. "All hands to battle stations," Aurora ordered, her voice firm as the red alert lights flashed. The ship hummed with energy as the crew scrambled to their posts. This would be their first offensive strike with the seventh-dimensional technology, and the risks were astronomical. In the war room, Dr. Elena Vargas stood with Commander Morrow, reviewing the latest intelligence reports. Her mind was elsewhere, on Verax, and the choice he would soon have to make. She couldn't help but wonder if their connection had been a mistake. Could she really trust him to choose her over his empire? "We're ready, Captain," Lieutenant Green reported from her station. Aurora's gaze was steely. "Prepare for dimensional shift. The Carillion Empire will learn today that humanity doesn't back down." As the USS Resolute activated its phase shields and began to shift into the seventh dimension, war had officially broken out. The galaxy would never be the same again. What do you think? These sections bring complexity to the warship's control while setting the stage for the emotional and physical conflict between Verax and his loyalty and humanity's strength in the coming war. The battle above Kestrel Nebula raged across space, a violent clash between humanity's allies and the Carillion fleet. Flashes of laser fire and explosive missiles filled the void, but none of it compared to the arrival of humanity's secret weapon. As the USS Resolute activated its phase shields, the warship began to shimmer, slipping between dimensions like a ghost. On the bridge, Captain Aurora Steele stood tall, her gaze fixed on the chaos outside the viewport. Her crew worked frantically at their stations, but a silent tension filled the air. Everyone knew that controlling the seventh-dimensional shifts had become harder with each jump. "Ready the phase cannons," Aurora ordered, her voice calm despite the enormity of the situation. "We hit them where it hurts." As the Resolute phased back into normal space, it unleashed a devastating barrage of energy beams, tearing through the Carillion ships with ease. The enemy fleet was caught off guard. Ships that had moments ago been locked in battle were now nothing more than debris, floating silently through space. The Carillion commanders scrambled to react, but the Resolute was already gone, having phased back into the seventh dimension. But there was a cost. Aurora could feel it. Every time the Resolute shifted between dimensions, she felt the world around her changing, warping. The more they used the warship's power, the more she felt herself slipping away from the reality she once knew. Time no longer felt linear. Space no longer seemed fixed. The boundaries between dimensions, once so clear, began to blur. Standing on the bridge, Aurora stared into the swirling void of the seventh dimension. Her crew still saw the ship's instruments, still worked to maintain control, but for her, the stars seemed to bend and twist in unnatural ways. Sometimes she saw shapes, unfamiliar, incomprehensible beings that flickered in and out of existence. "Captain," Lieutenant Green called, her voice pulling Aurora back to the present. "We're ready to phase back into normal space." Aurora blinked, shaking off the strange visions. "Do it." The ship phased back, but Aurora knew something fundamental had shifted inside her. She was no longer the person she had been. The power of the seventh dimension was intoxicating, but it was also corrosive. She could feel her humanity slipping away, piece by piece. While the war raged, Commander Verax found himself at a crossroads. Having learned about humanity's secret weapon through his private meetings with Elena, he now held knowledge that could turn the tide of war in the Carillion Empire's favor. But as the battles grew fiercer, and the Resolute decimated Carillion fleets with impunity, Verax felt his loyalties fraying. He loved Elena. He couldn't deny it any longer, and yet he was a warrior of the Carillion Empire, bound by duty and honor to his people. To betray them was unthinkable, but how could he lead his fleet against the woman he cared about, knowing that doing so would mean her destruction? Alone in his quarters aboard the Calthor Verax stood staring at a holo projection of Elena, her face filled with hope and desperation from their last communication. "The Resolute is unstoppable, Verax," Elena had told him, her voice soft but urgent. "But if you help us, maybe we can end this war without annihilation." He had said nothing, but her words had cut through him. Now, as the battle above Novus Prima drew closer, Verax was forced to make a choice, his empire or the woman he loved. On the surface of Novus Prima, Elena paced nervously in her lab, her thoughts consumed by Verax. Could she really trust him? The information she had shared about the Resolute was enough to change the course of the war. If Verax used that knowledge to help his empire, humanity would be doomed. Suddenly, her comm unit chimed. It was Verax. They met in secret near the colony's outskirts, where the night sky was alight with the glow of distant battles. As Verax approached, his face was hard, but there was a sadness in his eyes that Elena couldn't ignore. "We can't keep doing this, Elena," Verax said, his voice low. "You've put me in an impossible position." Elena crossed her arms, her heart pounding. "I didn't have a choice, Verax. This war, it's bigger than us." "You gave me knowledge that could destroy your people," Verax said, his voice breaking. "Do you realize what you've done?" Elena stepped closer, tears brimming in her eyes. "I trust you. I trust that you won't use it." The tension between them was palpable, the weight of their choices hanging in the air. And then, without warning, they were interrupted, alarms blaring in the distance as Carillion forces made their move. Verax's gaze hardened. "I have to go," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "But know this, Elena, whatever happens next, I won't betray you." The Carillion Empire, facing mounting losses, prepared for a final all-out assault on Earth itself. It was their last chance to turn the tide of war, and every resource was thrown into the invasion. Thousands of warships gathered in a massive formation, ready to obliterate humanity's homeworld. But Aurora Steel, now fully immersed in the power of the seventh-dimensional warship, had other plans. The UNS's Resolute come in orbit, its phase shields flickering as it prepared for its final, most dangerous battle. On the bridge, Aurora's vision was filled with swirling patterns of energy. She no longer saw the universe the way her crew did. She saw beyond it. Every dimensional shift brought her deeper into the fabric of existence, and now she was more than human. "Captain," Lieutenant Green said cautiously, "the Carillion fleet is moving into position." Aurora's eyes burned with a strange light. "Let them come," she whispered. "We'll end this now." As the Carillion fleet launched its attack, the Resolute vanished, shifting seamlessly between dimensions. It reappeared moments later, unleashing a barrage of energy that tore through the enemy ranks. But the ship was unstable, and every dimensional shift pushed Aurora closer to the brink. Amidst the chaos of battle, Verax made his choice. He had led his fleet to Earth, but now, seeing the destruction wrought by the Resolute, he knew he couldn't continue. His empire's hunger for conquest had driven him to the edge, but his love for Elena pulled him back. "All ships, hold position," Verax ordered, his voice firm. His second-in-command, Zelthar, stared at him in disbelief. "Commander, we have to press the attack." "No," Verax said quietly. "I won't be a part of this slaughter." In that moment, Verax made a heart-wrenching decision. He betrayed his empire, ordering his fleet to retreat, abandoning the Carillion offensive. It was an act of defiance that would cost him everything, but it was the only way to save Elena and humanity. The Carillion Empire's final assault had been broken, thanks to Verax's betrayal and the overwhelming power of the UNS Resolute Humanity had won the war, but the victory came at a cost. The dimensional technology that had given humanity its edge was collapsing. The Resolute once a beacon of power, was now unstable, its connection to the seventh dimension tearing at the fabric of reality itself. On the bridge, Aurora Steel stood alone, her crew evacuated as the ship began to break apart. She had become something more than human, but that power came with a terrible price. The seventh dimension was calling to her, pulling her deeper into its folds. "I'll stay," Aurora whispered to herself. "This is where I belong now." With a final command, she sealed the ship's fate, sending it into the higher dimension forever. The asterisk Resolute asterisk and its captain vanished, becoming legends whispered throughout the galaxy. In the aftermath of the war, asterisk Elena asterisk and asterisk Verax asterisk found each other once again. Their love had survived the fires of war, but the galaxy around them was forever changed. Standing together on the surface of a rebuilt Novus, Prima, they watched the stars, knowing that peace was fragile and that the scars of the conflict would take generations to heal. Do you think we'll ever be able to move on from this? Elena asked softly, her hand entwined with Verax's. Verax looked up at the sky, his heart heavy with the weight of his choices. We'll try, he said. That's all we can do. And so, with humanity's victory secured, but at a great cost, they began the slow, difficult process of rebuilding a galaxy that had been torn apart by war.